hope you're having a wonderful Friday afternoon. I'm having a good one. Hey, Michelle. Michelle, why does it feel like it's been forever since I've seen you? I saw you on last Friday, did I not? Maybe it's just been an extra long week, I think. I'm glad to see you, though. I'm glad you're here. All right, everybody's making their way in. We've got a really fun show, and I have a fun announcement, which I'm not the one unveiling the announcement. A lot of you have already heard the news, but I am going to share it with you. Hi, Bridget. Hello, Kat. How are you? All right, so let's do it. Hey, Julie from St. Louis. How are you? How's the weather in St. Louis? Hey, Gina. Hey, Wendy. So good to see you. Who's ready for a fun show? I've got so much colorful, yummy, beady goodness in today's show. I have some beautiful Czech fire polish beads, and we are going to be featuring Gardanne, which is one of my favorites. You guys know I got to hang with her, and I just love her little individual pieces of art. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you some beautiful enamel pendants from Gardanne beads, I should say. And I've got some stringing materials that I showed you guys previously, and I'm going to use them today because it's always helpful, like with the personal shopper shows. It's always helpful if you can see those items in use, because I can put together a personal shopper show all day long and show you my favorite things. But sometimes I have people walk away with questions and they're like, okay, well, it's really pretty and it's great, but like, what do I do with it? So today is kind of one of those days because I'm using some of the Amiot cord. I have some of the Eslon. We've talked about those before. We talked about them in my personal shopper shows. I've used them a couple of times. We're going to use them today in a different but similar kind of way, if that makes any sense. It's Friday. I mean, you know how it goes here on Fridays. But that's the plan. We're going to put together an easy knotted necklace. I'm going to do it in some step outs so that we're not here for, from now until next week, because I got stuff going on next week and I can't be here making a necklace with you. However, we'll still be hanging out. We're just going to be hanging out in a different way, right? So, guys, set your reminders for Monday morning. That's this coming Monday morning, okay? Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Now, you're going to have to adjust that for your own time zones, right? But it's 11 a.m. Eastern time because that's my time zone right now. And I and Becky will be over on Shop LC, and we are going to have some exclusive goodies for you guys. You do not want to miss this new adventure that we are going on. I'm so excited. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and we would love for you guys to come and join us. We want this community to show up big, strong, loud, and proud. Y'all come on over, because let me tell you, there is an entire audience of people who do not know that they are jewelry makers yet. Can you imagine? Imagine, let us imagine for just a second. Can you think back to before you were a maker, what your life was like? And then when you realized that you were a maker and that jewelry making was your passion and that you loved it and it was just something that set your heart on fire, how it changed everything. And I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, right? Jewelry making and being a creative person is not just limited to me creating pieces of jewelry. Like, I take the lessons that I learn in jewelry making and I apply those in all facets of my life. And so to me, when I think about the audience that's there that does not know us, that does not know about beads, does not know about Czech glass, does not know the joy of creating a handmade piece of jewelry, that is very exciting to me, because I am hoping to reach those people and in turn bring those people into this community. I say that with my because one way or another, they will find their way to us, right? And we are really looking forward to that. So I'm looking forward to introducing a whole new world of people to the joys of jewelry making. And I would love for you guys who already share that passion and that joy to be a part of it. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And of course, we're going to be nervous, but when we have our community there with us, it definitely makes things a little bit easier. It's like hanging out with friends. So looking forward to it. Set your reminders. Again, that is Monday, this coming Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time over on Shop LC. And we are going to be showing you guys some exclusive things that you do not want to miss. So you definitely want to be there and enjoy this new adventure. All right. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about what we got going on in today's show. I'm going to turn you around. We're going to start looking at things. I will remind you how to shop while you are checking out some of the beautiful items that I have in today's show. And then we're going to get right into today's project. So let's get to it, shall we? All right. Seeing everybody in the house here. Eric is here. Susie is here. Nicole is here. Roll call. Wanda is here. Hey, Teresa. So good to see you guys. All right. So let's first take a look at the bead stringing material, because this is what I started talking about at the top of the show. So we may as well just go ahead and take a little look-see at it. So I have this beautiful purple colored amite cord, and we talked about this in a personal shopper show not too long ago. I think it was last Friday, actually. I have some of this I'm going to be using in today's project, and I have some of the Eslon. Now I have both of these here because I love them both. And I think that they are very, very similar. And so I can't say that I prefer one over the other. I think that they both work very similarly and structurally are pretty similar. There are some differences in the colors that are available. So I wanted to have these out here to show you number one, the two colors that I have picked out for today's show. But I also wanted you to see what these are like in action if you've never seen them before. Now the amite is made by Toho, and the Eslon, I'm not entirely sure who the manufacturer is of Eslon, but I do know that they are very, very similar. And size-wise, they are quite similar. I think the biggest difference between the two of them is that the amite is just a little bit more stiff than the Eslon is. The Eslon has a tendency to be very slippery. It has not been conditioned. It doesn't have any kind of coating on it that I am aware of. So when you are using it, sometimes it is nice to add some sort of, fabric stiffener to the end of this. You could use clear nail polish, or you can use Gilder's wax if you want to. You can use beeswax. You can also use super glue, which is one of my favorite things to do. I like to dip the end of it into my super glue, the gel in particular, and then bring it out and straighten it out and let it dry, and it'll dry nice and hard. Then I can use the end of it like a needle. The amite is a little bit more structured. It feels very similar. However, it is a stiffer cord. So, and I think that it probably has some sort of coating over it. I don't know what it is exactly, but I know that it doesn't need a whole lot extra. So you can treat it if you want to, and you can put something over the top of it to make it nice and stiff like a needle on the end, but it already has that kind of texture to it that is going to very easily go through all of your beads. All right, now, if you are joining us for the first time, or if you just need a little bit of a reminder while you are taking a look at these cords, on the side of your screen, you're going to notice there are a couple of different little icons. One of those is a shopping bag. At any point during today's show, you can touch that icon, and it is going to bring up all of the items that are in today's show. For instance, the amite and the Eslon that I have in the show. You can pull up the information about these while you're watching the show. You can even add these to your cart and check out, all while still watching the show. Just makes me a little bit smaller. I'm not going anywhere. Now, if you are joining us from Facebook, it's going to be a little bit different. Up here in the corner of your screen, you're going to see a little text box. For each one of the items in today's show, you're going to type in the code associated with that item, and it's going to send you a link directly to your messenger to make it easy for you to shop. So it doesn't matter where you're joining us. Shopping is made easy for you no matter where you are. However, if you're joining us from Facebook, I do want to remind you that I can't see your comments. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, section and you want to hang out in the comment section and interact with this party that we've got going on, you definitely want to come over to artbeads.com and join the live that way. Okay. Also, would love it if you guys would share away. If you are part of a Facebook group that allows you to share these kinds of lives, we would love for you to do that. Hit those heart buttons as well. It also lets us know that you are loving what we've got going on. So lots of ways that you can continue to interact with us here by shopping and by hitting the heart buttons and sharing, and also making sure you're joining the Facebook group to continue the conversation after the live is over. All right. So now I have shown you both of the cords that I have picked out. Let me show you the two beads, the bead mixes that I've pulled out to go with these. Now, we've seen these previously, and let me tell you, these are in pretty bad shape. Only because I only had one mix of each one of these. So I have taken these off of the cords, both of them. So I have the purple here. And if you guys will remember, we actually picked out the names for some of these. When we first saw them, they were all still in beautiful little strands, individual strands, but they were bundled together. I have a purple one here, and I have this beautiful teal colored one here, and I have used several of them, so they are no longer on the strands, but it is still the same colors that you're going to find, just with more of them in nice clean rows when you get these to your house, right? Now, once you get these to your house, if you need to rewatch this as a video on demand, you can. If you need to, like, you know, be inspired by the project, you need to see a technique, be sure that you are checking out the replays as well as checking out all of the other project inspiration that we have on artbeads.com. All right, so these are the two bead mixes. They were strand bundles. I shouldn't say mixes. They're strand bundles. These are the two choices that I picked, and you can see why it is that I picked out the cording, because they match so well. Now, what we're going to pair with these beads and cord are some gorgeous pendants from Gardan. Now, I have two in particular that I am going to be using. One that is in part of my sample. Let me unplug here. Always makes me nervous to unplug. All right, this is the one that I have used in the sample right here. And you can see beautiful blues, purples, there's some greens. I could have used a green bundle with this one, but this is the Gardan Beads Peppermint with Mauve and Apple Green pendant. It's a cicada. It is super cool. Now, I'm going to show you a lot of different pendants and just pieces from Gardan Beads because I absolutely love them, and I think that you could find a bead strand bundle to match any of the ones that I have in today's show. So this was the one that I used for our finished piece, and we're just putting together a super simple knotted project here. I used the that purple amiant for the length of this, and a mixture of both of the bead bundles to create this. I'm going to show you step by step how to do this and then how to finish it off. We're going to be using, and since I've already used this guy right here, we're going to be using for our project one of the shells. So this one is the peppermint with glass accent enameled shell. I love this one too. Absolutely beautiful. There's a couple, I think there's a couple of different shells that she has available. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Gardan Beads, educate yourself because she's incredible. So Anne Gardan, I got to hang out with her while we were at Bead Fest this past year, and she is an enamel artist. She's also a gardener, which is where the Gardan comes from, which I think is fantastic. She is inspired by nature, as you can tell from a lot of the pieces that she creates, and she is known for her really what's the word here, because I mean, this is a bug, but it's super cool. She's known for her really interesting and unique design choices and her gorgeous color palettes that are just absolutely stunning. And she actually came by enamel making kind of by accident. You definitely should look her up and look up her story if you've never seen it before. She's such a wonderful person and an amazing artist. So to get to feature her pieces is always a treat. They're always created in small batches though, and in limited supplies. So when you see these, if you see one that you love, I always encourage you, now whether that's here or somewhere else, even though I want you to do all your shopping here, obviously, but because these are in limited quantities when she releases these, buy them up when you see the ones that you love, because they're very, very hard to get your hands on once they're gone. You can scour the ends of the internet looking for individual pieces. Your best bet is just to grab them when you see them so that you don't have to go through all of that trouble, because sometimes you will not find the piece again. So I have these two. We're going to create our piece today with this one. I've already got the finished piece. Well, it's not finished. We're going to do the back of this one together. But I've got these two. Let's take a look at some of the other ones, because some of the pieces that she has are not, she does more than just pendants. Now I do have some beautiful pendants that I'm going to show you, but I also have some connector pieces. I've got some bead caps. I've got a lot of really interesting things from her. So all right. Michelle says there's a couple of other shells. There's the seafoam color and the white autumn color. Thank you, Michelle. I knew there was a couple more. All right. Now this one is one of the little connectors. I think this is the most beautiful color of green ever. This is in emerald green, a brass leaf link. And as you can see, there are connectors on both sides for this one. So you're going to be able to put this one in the middle of something. You can use this as the middle of a bracelet or in the middle of a necklace, or you could turn it this direction, hang your necklace from here, and then hang some sort of dangle or other, you know, something fun from the bottom of that. If you wanted to, you could grab two of these, create some earrings out of them. Really, really beautiful. There's a couple of other connectors that I have here. I've got the Aqua English Daisy with the lime center. This one is so pretty too. I have two of these actually. So I have the blue, and then I also have this really pretty lime green. Same kind of flower. Absolutely beautiful. Now, they are enamel. So, and I say that because as I set this one down, I realized that it almost looks plastic. Right, but it's not. I promise. It's got that high gloss shine to it that makes it look that way. But it's brass with enamel, and it is so, so pretty. So again, connectors. You can see both of these have the loops on them, so you can use this in the center of a necklace or in the middle of a bracelet, or however you wanted to use it. So pretty. Got another connector here. I actually have two more connectors, and then some bead caps and a couple of pendants, and then we'll put together a project. I just wanted to show some of these off because I think they're so, so pretty. I can't, it's like potato chips. You can't just have one. You gotta have as many as possible. At least I do. All right, this one is a brass leaf cluster in teal, and you can see this one has a couple of drill holes on it as well. So this one has a drill hole here at the top, or could be the bottom, depending on how you wanted to put it. If you wanted to put it like this, hang your dangle here and your two strands off this direction. So I think this one's really cool because it could go either way. You could use this one as a to one side for an asymmetrical design with two strands coming up to a single, which I think would be really cool. But I love the color of this one. It's really, really beautiful. So, so pretty. Absolutely love that. So again, these are just the connector ones. And then of the last of the connectors that I have, and you guys have actually seen this one recently. This one is the peppermint bird here, with the two connectors, one on each wing, which I also think is really beautiful. Love this like summertime color palette here. All those beautiful blues and the white. So pretty. So these are just a couple of the ones with two holes or more. This one has three, so you can use these in a lot of different ways. All right. Then I have some of these bead caps. I think the bead caps are really, really special. I have these in two different colors. So I have one in teal green and one in autumn orange, and they're just enamel bead caps. They're really beautiful. They're really special. They're really going to take your bead to a whole new place, right? It's just another way to kind of personalize your piece of jewelry. Instead of just using a regular metal bead cap, you could use one of these beautiful enamel ones and have that beautiful extra edition of art. That was really hard to say. Extra edition of art. Those are too many for me on a Friday afternoon. I love those. Those are so pretty. You can fit a large bead in those, which I think is cool. But you could also use these as like a tassel topper, or you could put like a chain under them, make like a chain tassel if you wanted to. Use those in a lot of different ways. Super pretty. All right, gonna move these out of the way because I do have just some beautiful pendants, and then we're gonna get on with our project. All right, so now I picked out some of my favorites, and I think any of these would work with the project that we're doing today. So just feel free to pick and choose whichever one you want. This is a good one for summertime. This one is a little blue. Looks like a little sand dollar. Got a couple of drill holes in it. So pretty. And then this one is a gorgeous teal green. I love that. This heart. Gosh, that's so pretty. It's very, very pretty in person. All right. I mean, not that it's not pretty on camera, but my goodness. All right, then we have a little bear here. I love the bears. I've seen the bears in a lot of places, used in a lot of ways. I think one of my favorite ways to use the bears is as earrings. I think those are really cool. And then I have a couple of leaves. Just two more. Eric's late. That's okay. We forgive you. To be fair, we thought you were already here. At least I did, so it's okay. Somebody said hi to you, and so I just assumed you were here. All right, now this one is the pink and silver Monstera leaf. I love that. That pink is stunning. That is so pretty. And then last but not least, I have the Tuscany medium oak leaf, which is also absolutely beautiful. I would use this one with purples and maroons just to bring out that deep, deep red that's there in the middle. So pretty. I love them. I cannot get enough of these, obviously, because I have quite the selection here, plus the ones that we are going to be using today, but I just can't help myself. They're so pretty. They're very cool because they are high gloss, super shiny, little works of art, and the fact that these are only available in limited quantities means that I have, and you have, when you have these at your home and you are creating around them, you have a little piece of a small collection. And I don't know, there's something just very, very cool about that. It's like being part of a secret club, right? You create your beautiful piece of jewelry around something that you know there's only a handful of other people in the world that have them, and you've all created your own different designs around them. I don't know. That's just very, very special to me. I love that we here at Art Beads can support artisans and are able to share these kinds of pieces with our community. So I don't know. Maybe I'm waxing a little extra poetic today. Maybe I'm feeling a little in my feelings. I don't know. But I just can't help myself because look at these. They're absolutely stunning, and it's really hard to pick one. That's why I have so many. But again, I think any of them would work with today's project. So speaking of project, I know that's why you're here, even though I could look at these all day long. Let's get into it. You want to? Oh, I just saw a combination that I really liked. I thought those two together, yum. That's beautiful. I don't know how I would make that work, but I would find a way. That's so pretty. I love those together. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to show you the sample, and then we're going to start this together, and then we're going to come back to our sample. Okay. So I took some of the purple amia that we have talked about as my cording for this. I took 3 strands of this and folded them in half. I'm going to show you how to do that with this one here in just a second. So I'm just kind of walking you through it before we get into it. I separated out my strands, and then I used my strands individually to add beads to. Okay, and then just did groups of 3, tied a knot, groups of 3, tied a knot, and I just worked my way down the length of the necklace. You could do this with any of the strand bundles, any of your favorite Czech glass fire polish colors, literally anything you wanted to. Doesn't even have to be Czech fire polish, right? And then I worked my way to the end. Now, I have not finished this off because we are going to do this together. We're going to create the adjustable slide clasp here with the square knots to make our necklace a little bit adjustable. It's not necessary because this necklace is nice and long, but it is a great way to finish off your cords. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's get started with this one. So changing things up a little bit, going to change the colors up at the very least. So with this pendant, I'm going to go with the Eslon here, and I'm going to cut myself, not me, I'm going to cut for myself 3 strands of the Eslon, and I'm going to cut my strands at about, I don't know, like 6 feet long each. I know that sounds like a lot, but when you fold them in half, it only makes 3 feet on each side. Now, I know that that also sounds like a lot, but you got to take into consideration, number 1, we don't know how long you want your individual necklace to be, and number 2, it does take up a little bit of room to tie an overhanded knot, and we're not just tying one, we're tying several. So it is always better to have more cord than you think you need when you're doing a project like this, because you don't want to get to the end and realize that it's too short. Now, to cut this, I'm using one of my very favorite things. I love these so much. And yes, this is a little pricey for a pair of scissors, but these are the sharpest scissors I have ever owned, and I have threatened anyone's life who even looks like they're going to use these to cut anything other than beading cord, beading thread, or my Eslons, or Amiette with it. These are my tulip scissors, you guys. I love them so, so much. These are an essential. If you've been through like 17 pairs of scissors, listen, I know I've been through like 17 pairs of scissors when I finally landed on these, and I was like, I will never own another pair of scissors. These are the best scissors I have ever owned. And I know that that sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I've been through them. Trust me, I've been through them. I've even self-sharpened ones that have gone dull. These are magical, and they come with this little leather sheath. It's like a sword. Like, don't mess with my scissors. So, okay, anyway, moving on. I'm going to be using my fancy tulip scissors for this. And I'm going to put myself some cord here. I'm going to cut 3 pieces. And I am just kind of eyeballing it, taking my ends together and then bringing it down. And I'm going to do one more with my fancy scissors. Right? Don't touch a woman's good scissors. That, seriously, don't. If I even see somebody looking at these scissors like they're going to use them, I'm immediately on the defensive. Do not touch my scissors. I may use my good cutters for things that I shouldn't use them on, but when it comes to my scissors, it's a whole different story. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, so what we have here is 3 pieces of cord and a very small hole. This can sometimes be a challenge because we need to get not just 3 cords through this hole, but actually 6, because what we're going to do is we're going to take these cords, we're going to bring the ends together, and we're going to find the middle, right? And we're going to tie a lark's head knot. And in order to do that, I got to get all 6 cords through this little hole right here. Now, sometimes I can get lucky and I can pinch them down small enough to get all of them through the hole all at one time. That's not going to happen today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of scrap wire. And I say scrap, but I'm actually, don't look, don't judge. I'm actually going to cut a piece of wire. Scrap piece of wire. Pretend like it's scrap. I'm going to take this little piece of wire here. It doesn't matter what gauge it is. It quite literally just a scrap piece. Okay. And I'm going to hook my cords just like that. And then I'm going to take this through that hole because I know realistically there's no way that without this I could get all these cords through here. Now I may need to pinch this down. So I will use some pliers real quick to pinch it pretty flat. And then pull. There we go. It just saves me a whole lot of time. I don't have time to sit here and fuss with all of this. So I pull this through and then get rid of my scrap wire. Okay. And I've pulled it through. I have a loop. I'm going to take all of my ends all together and I'm just going to stick them through that loop that I made and pull. And when I pull all of that down, now I have a lark's head knot, okay? Nice and secure. Now, I normally trust my lark's head knots to be nice and secure. However, I mentioned when we were talking about the Eslon earlier, it's a little bit slippery. The Amia is not nearly as slippery. I feel like when you tie a knot with it, it kind of grips onto itself because it's already a little stiff. This stuff is not. So any kind of adhesive, any kind of glue that you like to use, I would definitely come to the back of this and put the smallest little amount of glue right here, whether it is a little dab of E6000 or if you like the GS Hypo Cement or whatever it is, fabric glue since we're using cording here. But putting a little dab of glue back there is going to help to keep this knot nice and secure so that it's not going to open up on you while you're working because it is a little slippery. All right, now we have 6 cords here and we are going to separate these into groups of 3. So I want 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. And we're just going to work our way down or up, depending on, I'm actually going to turn it this direction. So we're going to be working downwards with our cords. Okay, so with our sample, I used both of the bead strand mixes, the purple and the teal. For this one, I'm just going to stick with the teal. I'm not going to mix any of the purple in with this. So I'm going to grab this guy right here. And, right, Michelle says, when in doubt, use 2-part epoxy. That's like the ultimate glue. The ultimate glue. You know why I love 2-part epoxy? I never talk about it. You know why I love it the most? Because it doesn't create white cast. Your E6000 usually doesn't, and the GS Hypo Cement won't either, but your super glues, they have a tendency to create this crazy white cast. But the epoxies, never ever had that problem with the epoxies. Okay, so now I'm going to take each cord. And if you want to stiffen the cord up, you can. We don't have that kind of time. So I'm just going to thread on 1 bead and drop it down to each one of the cords here. And I have no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to kind of random pattern, or you can make it an official pattern if you want to, but I'm just going to pick 3 beads, or you can do all 3 the same color, and then the next little bundle do 3 different colors. It's totally up to you. But you can see the beads will fit perfectly on the cord. I'm going to bring those down and then I'm going to tie an overhanded knot to secure them. Now, if you like yours nice and tight, you can pull them all the way down nice and tight, just like that, right? To make like a little cluster and tie your knot. I like to let mine move around a little bit. So when I tie my overhanded knot, I don't like to pull mine down super close to the beads. I leave a little bit of room, little wiggle room there. So I'll pull down right about there and then cinch up my cord. So now my beads have room to move. They can do whatever they want to do, you know? All right, then I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to take these, and you can do one full side and then come back and do the other side if you want to, but I'm going to do both sides at the same time. So one on the right and one on the left. drop down my beads, one on each cord. And honestly, that's all there is to this. We're just going to work our way down the length of our necklace, creating these little bead bundles. All right, so there's another little bundle. Yes, Katie says you could maybe braid it and then put more beads in between each. I love that idea. I love that. So many cool things you can do. You could do braiding. Since you've got 3 cords, you could do like a standard braid. You could do macrame if you wanted to. Like you could do some square knots in here or some spiral knots and let the cord, like your knotted section, be part of the design. I think that would be really cool. Now, one thing about this is that I do try to keep them even. So I will try to keep the knots kind of the same distance, if possible. It's not always possible to get them exact, but you know, at least as exact as I can get it with eyeballing it. I'm not gonna ruler this. There's no way. I could, but I'm not going to. I like the braiding idea. Let's do a couple of these and then let's braid a little section because I just think that that sounds really cool. That's a wonderful idea. All right, so 3 more beads. 1 on each cord on this side. So I had a lot of people, oh, I already used this bead on this one. I had a lot of people this morning when I was talking about the Shop LC thing. I had a lot of people asking about how they can see Shop LC. So in case you're curious, Shop LC, there is an app. There's an app that you can put on your phone or your tablet, or you can just go to shoplc.com and you can click on live TV from there. Or you can watch from your cable provider. There's an app on Roku, excuse me, or it could be in your regular cable channel lineup if you have cable. So there's a lot of different ways to see it. Lots of options. And yeah, you definitely don't want to miss the deals that we're going to have because we've got some things that you guys are only going to see on Shop LC, and you do not want to miss out. Trust me, I know because I was part of helping to pick out some of these things, and I know you're going to love them. I know you will. I know you will. I had you in my mind when I was helping to put them together. So trust me when I say it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be full of deals, and it is definitely going to be an adventure you want to be part of. All right, some more beady goodness on here. All right, so there's my second little bundle. I love how full this looks, but it's also open, if that makes any sense at all. It's very boho. It's very beachy. This is going to be great for the summertime. It's lightweight. You can throw this on if you're on vacation or if you just wish you were on vacation, which I think is how most of us spend our time. Just wishing I was on vacation. Wanda wants to come with us. She says I'm helpful like that. Come with us, Wanda. Let's go have fun. It's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. I can't wait because Becky and I are going to drive Eric absolutely crazy. That's going to be fantastic. It's different when I travel with Eric by myself because I'm like on my best behavior because, you know, you're traveling with the boss and you got to behave. It's totally different when you get the design team together. Oh man, the energy is just different. We are very much like sisters and we all behave as such. I just wish that the rest of the design team was going with us. I know they'll be with us in spirit, but it's going to be so much fun. The karaoke happened one time back in Bead Fest. I was not a part of it. I was there and I was watching and I was singing from the sidelines. So it's always a good time when you get more than one of us together. Not that Eric's not fun. He's fun. It's just different. It's just different when you got your girlfriends with you, you know? We're going to have a good time. And you don't behave. All the shenanigans. There will be shenanigans. I am certain of that. I know that Becky seems in her lives like she's very well behaved, but she can let loose. I'm telling you. She's a theater kid, so of course she can let loose. For a good time. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to all of it. And I cannot wait for all of you to be there with us. All right, making another little bundle here, and then maybe we'll do a little braiding. Why not? Why not? All right, so overhanded knot. Susie says you should go live in Serious Art Beaters Facebook group. We have some plans to do that. Listen, we want you guys to be as connected to us as possible while we're there. So don't you worry. You're going with us. Trust me. You're going with us one way or another. All right. So this looks beautiful. We could continue going. This is going to be an absolutely stunning necklace no matter what you do after this point, right? But I do like the idea of kind of braiding a little bit of it. Just to see, let's just see, you know, if I can remember how to just do a simple braid. That'll be interesting, especially when I don't really have a way to hold the tension here, but this was definitely not in the plans, but I liked the idea, so give it a little bit of a try. The only thing about braiding with just the 3 cords is that it is a very, very small. So this might need to be bulked up a little bit, maybe. Because it is going to be a very small braid, right? But I can see doing that and making like some little sections in between here to create some space for sure. Now this is going to be, it's going to be really helpful when you don't have a lot of beads, right? I fortunately have plenty of beads here. And when you grab these bundles, the mixes of the strands that we put together, you are going to have plenty of beads to work with. I had enough to use some of these in this design as well as this design right here. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue at all. But if you are running low on beads, maybe you've already made 1 or 2 necklaces, then creating some knotting here or some braiding in between to open up some space is definitely going to help your beads go a lot further for sure. Okay, now I know we've not done the entire thing here, but I want to be sure that before we run out of time, I show you how to finish this off and I give you some options, because when it comes to cord like this, I feel like sometimes people get a little confused about how you would finish something like this off because you're not using a crimp, you're not using a wire Gordian. What's that? I don't know. It's Friday afternoon. You never know. A wire Guardian. But you have some options and I'm going to show you one of those options and we'll talk about some of the others. So coming back to the sample, moving my beads out of the way here. So I came all the way down with my sample. You can see this one is all the way to the ends. And I have several inches of the cord left. Now, I have a couple of different things that I can do here. We are going to create an adjustable clasp. The adjustable clasp normally is what I would use for a bracelet, right? And that's the most common place to use the adjustable sliding clasp with the square knots. However, you can do it with a necklace. There's no reason why you can't. You can put that kind of clasp on the back of a necklace. Even if your necklace is long enough to go over your head and maybe you don't really need it, it's just a good way to finish off your ends, if nothing else. However, you can also tie this onto a jump ring, right? You could just tie an overhanded knot, tie it onto a jump ring, tie some bead dangles to this, trim your ends, and your jump ring, add a clasp, and you could call that done. But some people don't like the dangle part of that. You could cut the cords short, add glue. You could put cord ends on this. You could take like a cone or some other kind of cord ending, and you could attach this to some wire, like a, you know, I'll just show you. I don't have any wire in the show, but just as an example, okay, because it doesn't really do you any good to just hear me talk about it. So one thing that I might do is if I had some wire, like a piece like this, is again just a scrap piece of wire, okay. If I had some wire, I can take my pliers and create a wrapped loop. I'm going to do like a very small wrapped loop, okay. Very, very small wrapped loop. And honestly, you could do a messy wrap. It doesn't even have to be pretty because it's going to go up into the inside of something. Okay. So now if I had this, if I wanted to, I could take all of my cords and I could thread them through just like this. Okay. Tie an overhanded knot. Pull that down. Well, I pulled it down a little too far away from this knot, but pull it all the way down before you cinch it down, right? Cut this off, add some glue, cut this off. Then take this up through your cord end or a bead cap, like the enamel one we have here. This one might be a little bit too open, but just as an example, right? Put it into that, and then you can wire wrap a loop here and add your hardware to it. So there's a couple of different things you can do here. You can also get like the bead tips, the clamshells, and put your knot into one of those and then add your hardware. So you have options. There are a lot of options, but for us, what we are going to do is we are going to do the adjustable clasp because it doesn't take any additional tools to do that. Okay. So we're going to take our ends of our cord. I have cords going this way and cords going this way. So there I'm going to run them in opposite directions of each other. And then I'm going to use some clips to clip these together. You can use literally like I have a chip clip. I use a chip clip on this side. Like if you have like, you know, folder clips or whatever you've got like on your desk, just use whatever you've got handy. You can use tape too if you wanted to, but I'm just using what I have here. Just to make life a little bit easier on me. You could use a tying station if you wanted to, but I mean, I'm just grabbing what I have. Okay. Just to hold all these together until I can get them knotted. Now I'm going to take an additional piece of my cord, and actually, you know what? No, I will use this. I was going to use the other color, but I'll use this. That's fine. So I'm going to take a piece of this and I'm going to take it underneath all of these cords, bring it to the middle. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a square knot. So I'm going to take the right side. I'm going to do a P shape. Don't mind my cord. It's a little crazy, right? A P shape over the top of the cords. My left hand cord is going to cross over that. and then it is going to go behind and up through the P shape on the right. And then I'm going to pull. Okay. Now, square knot happens in 2 steps, so I got to do the same thing on the left. So I'm going to take my left cord, make a backwards P shape, right cord crosses over, and then you go behind all of the cords and up through your backwards P shape and pull. All right, now I've created a little square knot, and you can create as many of these square knots as you want to. Now, this is a good time to mention that recently I did a project here on a Friday where we did an adjustable bracelet, and I used this as the finishing technique, right? And I talked very in depth about the measuring aspects of doing this. Now, for a necklace like this that's already nice and long, it may not be that important. However, if you do need a deep dive into the measuring process and what this adds to your finished piece, I highly recommend going and watching that replay so that you can get a better understanding of how much extra length this process adds or can add to your overall finished piece, okay? I'm not going to get into all of that now because I feel like it's kind of overkill because I did it not too long ago, but it is a wonderful reason for you to go back and watch it on repeat. And while you are there watching it, be sure you're signing up for the newsletter, okay? The newsletter is going to keep you in the know of everything new we've got going on at Art Beads. So our new adventure with Shop LC that's going on Monday, you're going to get reminders about that. You're going to get reminders about sales. Like right now, we have a cyber sale that is going on. You can get up to 40% off store-wide, and you would get that information through that newsletter. So be sure you're signing up for the newsletter. Great way to stay in the know of all of the new adventures we've got going on at Art Beads. And also, don't forget to sign up for our Facebook group, which I know I mentioned before, but it's always important to have as many ways as possible to be inspired. So you have all of the videos that you can watch on replay on the website, right? There are projects from years ago and projects from yesterday. You can rewatch all of those, and then you can also go over to the Facebook group and be inspired by other community members, see what they're putting together with their art bead goodies. Lots of ways to stay in the know and to stay connected. All right, so I'm just making a row here, or a sinnet is actually what you would call this. I'm making a sinnet of square knots over the top of my cords. This is going to keep all of my cords nice and secure. This is also going to be a little bit adjustable, even though it's not super long section. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to finish this one and call that 7. So we'll have 7 square knots here. All right. Now, I could do a longer section, I could do a shorter section, whatever you need, but we are going to trim our cord nice and short on both sides, and then I'm going to use a lighter to melt this. However, if you have a thread burner and you don't want to use flame, thread burner is a great option. You just want to get the heat close to the cord. Don't set it on fire. You just want to get it close so that it starts to melt. Oh, dap it down. Don't catch it on fire. Don't do what I did. I got a little too close there. Do as I say, not as I do. And then you're just going to tap it down with your finger. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Would not be the first time, probably won't be the last time that I've set something on fire. during a live presentation. Okay, now I take my clips off and I have these long strands. And the first thing I want to do is I want to pull everything down tight, right? Right up against the last knot that I tied in my necklace. Now, you can add beads to the ends of these if you want to and tie individual knots, or you can tie them all together. I like to just tie them all together. So I'm going to bring these all together on one side, and I'm just going to tie an overhand knot. Oh, that was funny. They will not let me use fire on Monday. Probably a good thing. All right, so then I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side, and I want to try to tie it at the same length as the other. So I want my knot to be the same. Good grief. Hold on. There we go. All right, so I want to try to cinch my knot down. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Now, these knots are going to serve as a stopper. Let me trim my ends. Okay. So the knots are going to serve as a stopper so that when you open this up to its fullest adjustable length, the knot is going to keep your cords from sliding through there and just pulling your necklace apart, right? So that adds a little extra length. Put over your head, decide what length you want this to be. You can shorten it up, you know, whatever in between the fullest length to the shortest length. And it's just a nice clean way to finish this off where you don't need any extra hardware. And the cord is soft enough that it's not going to bother you much. And if you wanted to leave these really long and like add beads and have like this long cascading thing down the back of your neck, you could totally do that, okay? I just cut this one short just for showing you, you know, how to make it adjustable and to get it done, right? Just making sure you know how, that's all. So this one is not exactly the prettiest because they're sticking straight out, but if you added the beads to it, of course, that would give it some weight and it would hang down nice and pretty, but that's it, you guys. So we've got... Wanda says, Sarah's a true professional. Project was a flame, but there were no sentence enhancers used. They were in my head, I can promise you that. All right, so there's this one that we finished. This one we did not finish, but I think will be absolutely stunning when it is completed. And any of these gorgeous pendants would work. You could do it in pink. I know we have a Czech glass strand bundle that would go with that. You could use this one with this color palette. This one would look amazing with that color palette. You could do this with any of these, and you could use your little bead caps on the ends if you wanted to, or you could use them in the front and do a dangle with your cording and put beads on the ends if you wanted to. So many pretty options. And guys, this is just a very small selection of what is available from Gardanne Beads on the Art Beads website. These are just the ones that I picked that I wanted to show off to you guys, but there are so many more, so many beautiful ones to choose from, and a ton of Czech glass beads that will match them. So, all right, whoops, sorry. I'm going to turn you guys around, see if any questions that I happened to miss. I'm also going to show you what the finished one looks like on the bust, and we'll hold up the other one as well. And while we are in this position where we can see each other, I do want to remind you that I will be back here, even though I will be live from Shop LC on Monday. I'll be back here, same time, same place, next Friday with another project for you guys. We're going to do a little design on the fly next Friday, since I will just have a very small amount of time to get ready. But that is a cool looking necklace. It's just very, very cool. I like that a lot. So I'll still be here on Friday with you guys, and so will all of the other designers as well. Not on Friday, but on their designated days. So be sure you're setting your reminders. For everyone else, that blue, that's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Love those. So cool and very easy, right? Very, very easy. A cool way to use your beads without making like a super heavy piece. You could even add dangles from this if you wanted to add like jump rings and some charms. You could do that if you wanted to. You can get really cool with this. And you could make ankle bracelets. You could make bracelets. It doesn't just have to be a necklace. Now, I don't know that I would use a pendant this big for that, but there are some smaller Gardan pendants that would look beautiful as a charm on an ankle bracelet or a regular bracelet. So yeah, so pretty. Definitely. Wanda says, Gardan beads are beautiful. Treat yourself. I agree with her. Treat yourself. They are definitely worth it. They're beautiful little works of art, and they're in limited quantities, so you get a little piece of something special. Love it. Love it. All right, guys, I'm going to scroll back through here and see if there's anything that I missed, and then I am going to let you guys go because I got to go finish packing. I'm packing up all my stuff here to take with me. Lots of beady goodness coming your way. You definitely want to be sure that you are setting your reminders for our Shop LC show. Reminder for you is that is 11 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. And also set your reminders for all of the other lives. They're all still happening next week, so you definitely don't want to miss out on anything, right? All right, guys. I don't think we had any questions. Just lots of fun comments. You guys are awesome. I love you guys so much. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Nicole. Everybody. Carol, Suzanne, Laura, Gelda. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I hope to see you guys on Monday. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Have an amazing rest of your Friday. Thanks for letting me be a part of your beady journey. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.